That glitch, it's time to thwip. What's up, guys? I'm AJ, and welcome back to another Thwip Side review. And today I'm checking out the Target exclusive McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Flashpoint, the Flash action figure. That being said, we'll take a look at the box. Of course, you see the McFarlane Gold Label collection stamp. You have the Flash himself with an extra head accessory, which is awesome. You get the stand in the back, the card, and the big old legs for the Cyborg, Flashpoint Cyborg. This is a part of that Flashpoint Cyborg Build-A-Figure wave that they leak out figure by figure, spread out over time. And I was thinking about actually building Cyborg, but because I got this figure and going back and getting the Aquaman and the Superman, but I think he's going to be a little too big for my taste, so I'm not sure about that. But anyway, there's the front of the box. You get the Flash saying that he is from the Flashpoint comic. And then instead of a picture of the Flash, you get artwork of Cyborg and what piece Flash comes with. Here's what we got so far for the Build-A-Figure wave. You got the Aquaman, the Superman, the Flash, and a mystery figure. And mumbo jumbo, that's enough of the box. And we're going to pop him open and take a better look at him. And here's Barry out of the packaging. And of course, we'll start off by going over accessories. First off, we get the tried and true McFarlane DC Multiverse base with the peg. And then, of course, the trading card. But this time, it doesn't have artwork from the back of the box because that's Cyborg. And Flash needs his own character card with artwork from Flashpoint. And the bio. And then, what's got a lot of collectors happy is two heads. And here's the masked head. In the package, he comes with the unmasked head. But I think it came out really nice. Checking out Barry himself, move right up close here, and first talk about that unmasked head sculpt, and I think they did a real good job with that. Just a really cool Barry Allen likeness, and I like how they actually do have paint in the hair to bring out the sculpt of the hair. And my apps look clean on the face as far as the eyes and everything go, so really cool. He's got a little bit of a cocky smile. Of course, he's unmasked, so you have his mask or cowl or what have you down on his neck and all bunched up, so you see the little Flash ears. And this is a separate piece, so you can take it off when you put on the mask head, because that makes sense. Moving down to the rest of his body, which a couple things did surprise me. The Flash symbol is painted on, which tells me I'm not an expert on reuse. I usually don't look for that kind of thing with figures. I've got to get do a better job of doing that so I can identify that for you guys. But I'm thinking, because this wasn't sculpted, a separate piece in there like McFarlane likes to do, I'm taking it this is a reused body. I don't really care. That's why I don't really look out for if bodies are reused or not. But yeah, but it is a nice clean paint job. So we are getting a little more paint than we usually get with the painted head sculpt, or the paints on the masked head, I should say, and the unmasked head, and the paint here. Also right here, that's painted and not sculpted, which also lends to me thinking that this is reuse. And besides that, you got a basic red and yellow Flash costume. You got the bolts around his waist that make kind of like a belt. Moving down to his legs, you get the yellow boots that are sculpted with the little Flash wings. I will say, as far as paint is concerned, speaking of paint, it'd be cool, I don't think this figure needs a lot of paint in the costume, but maybe a little shading, to bring out around, his muscle definition. That would be kind of cool, but not necessary, I don't think. So yeah, I really am digging this unmasked head sculpt. And he's a nice looking Flash figure. Checking out his articulation, he does have the articulation we've become used to when it comes to McFarlane DC Multiverse. I will say his head is really loose there. It swivels, but it's not going to fall off or anything, but usually it's not that free flowing. I mean, it doesn't move or anything. It's just something I to point out. He does have some nice tilt. Looking up, he looks up that much. He looks down about that much. He does have that McFarlane socket, so the arm can go all over like that, kind of like a butterfly type joint, but not. And his arm goes up that far. He's got the bicep swivel, the double jointed elbows, wrist articulation. I will say, in my last video I commented how I thought it was cool how they kind of hide that now on this side. But it's kind of hidden, but not as well as the Nightfall Batman, let's say, and other figures. He's got the torso articulation, some nice tilt there, and of course the waist. And with that, you can arc back that far. Crunch, pretty decent for a crunch for a McFarlane figure. So I think they are getting a little better with their crunch and ab articulation. At least the few past figures I've picked up. Legs, you know, they go all over. You get the hip, which once again you get a lot more in than out. The double jointed knees that crash here with the boot, but still decent. Ankle forward, very tight. You can hear it clicking. Ankle back. Rocker for days. Look at that rock. That's a nice rocker right there. And toe. And here's the Flash with his mask head, and that looks great. But the problem is this looks great too, and I can't make up my mind so far on how I want to display him because they both look really cool. And here he is next to the DC Multiverse Godspeed figure. Godspeed happens to be one of my favorite speedster villains. He's fairly new, but I just love his design. So bottom line for me is, even though I like this Target exclusive McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Flashpoint Flash figure, I do have my nitpicks and gripes. The first of which is, even though I really do appreciate them giving us two heads, so you have options there, I really do wish they gave us some running hands instead of like a trigger finger that's useless for the Flash. And also I would have liked to have gotten some Speed Force effects. My hope is that maybe they re-release him without the Build-A-Figure parts and give us those extra accessories. That'd be cool. For now, I guess I can steal some Speed Force effects from some of my other Speedster characters. But yeah, that is a shame, and the trigger figure hand is silly to me when it comes to the Flash. And speaking of the alternate heads, I wish McFarlane would give us alternate heads more often instead of making them gold label figures. That has got to stop, and I know I'm far from alone in my opinion of that. They come out with a figure, and then if you want the unmasked head, you have to buy the gold label or vice versa, and that's just ridiculous. Just include it in the packet and with the one product. Pros would be that, in my opinion, this is a better Flash figure than what the first go around of the Flash, simply because he doesn't have the holes in his bodies where the original you ported in the Speed Force effects. So he's a more cleaner Flash, and he just looks really cool, and you don't need to use him just for Flashpoint Flash, in my opinion. He could just be your shelf Flash to fit almost anywhere for like a comic book Flash. Of course, a pro, going back to the main topic, it seems like, in this bottom line segment of my thoughts. Pro is you get the alternate head sculpt, and of course the pulled down cowl accessory. And I will also say real quick that the heads are really easy. That looseness that I mentioned in the articulation, it made for both heads pop on and off really nicely. You don't have to yank on them. Very little force, which is awesome. And one quick note that I almost forgot is where I commented they didn't do as good of a job as they usually do hiding the the joint there, like they've been doing. They did on his ankles, so that's pretty cool. And let's see if I can spit it out in one take again. This will wrap up my review of the Target exclusive McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Flashpoint Flash figure. Did it. Okay. Thanks as always for watching. I just realized the other day that my channel's been up for 3 years. It was my 3-year anniversary. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I appreciate all the subscribers, all the views, all the likes, all the comments. And we are a small channel, but we are mighty. But I love sharing my thoughts on figures, sharing thoughts on games, comics, or whatever. I just love the community that I've gotten to know. It's a very positive community, not a lot of like hate mongering and crap like that. And that's what I was looking forward to. You don't have to like everything, but you can say you don't like it in a much more eloquent way than we see on social media and the internet. But that's just my take on it. But yeah, thanks for everything. And I'm going to keep going making content. And I will catch you guys soon right back here on the Thwip side. Later.